I'm sick and tired of this, and I'm dedicated to find a way to get it done. I didn't know how, but yeah, I was sure that I wouldn't give up until I would find a way. I already turned plant-based in 2016 by accident, actually. Weird story, but because our daughter wanted to eat more vegetarian. But every time that I lost weight, it all came back. And that's the story of my life. For 30 years, I've been dieting, losing weight, gaining weight, and never been able to get it off. And of course, now I'm in menopause, 55 years old. Then you might know that's even harder. But I combined insights. I was only interested in results. I'm a results-oriented person, and combine several insights to my own formula. And here you see the stats of my results. So I lost about 40 pounds, and that's more than 1 year ago. And yeah, I feel amazing. Life is lighter. And the moment that I started this journey, I said to my husband, I've always been looking to build a second business besides my holiday home. That's a part-time business. And I want to make a difference in the world. And I said to my husband, if I can do this time, I'm dedicated to spend my life on this. And I was emotional telling it to him. And he said, well, I see that this is where your heart lies, so you should do it.
You probably
so just
don't
do it.
know from me, Claudia, that I very firmly believe in the mindsets behind our habits and the motivations behind us changing those habits. So what was the main motivation for you to change? Was it your daughter's desire to go vegetarian, or was it something else?
Now, what was behind it is that I knew that it could be a way to lose weight, and I knew that I was always struggling with this. So that was my first motivation. And I got some results, but I didn't know what I was doing wrong, so to say, that it all came back. But the decision for me was for health. So I lost both my parents to cancer. So my father died when I was 16 and he was 53. And this was the year where you see the graph starting that I was 53. So I promised myself this would be my best year ever. And then Corona hit, and it was a nightmare for 2 weeks, not knowing what to do in my business. And now looking back, I can say that it has become my best year, because for the first time in my life, I also focused on health. Because if you're interested in personal development, like I am, then you know that success in life is not only having success in your business, but it's success in relationship, your intimate partner, happiness. There's so much at stake, but oftentimes we put health last because we're so busy in our lives with everything else.
So it sounds, Claudia, as if the fact that you recently turned the age where when your mother died at the same age, that was a big, I don't know if scare is the right word, but it was certainly a big part of your motivation. There was something powerful driving you to make the changes you needed to change.
Yeah, it was I had an emotional connection with the age of 53, then that my father died. So my mother died at the age of 66. So there's not a good forecast if you look at my genes. So what would my life expectancy be? But I'm determined to get really old and healthy in a healthy way, and do everything that's in my power to do so.
And I think you're going to offer some great insights on how you plan to do that, Claudia. It sounds like you have a plan. It's fair to say, Claudia, I think that your approach is very science based. It's always been an important part of your approach to have a basis in science, to understand the science, and to know that what you're doing is supported by the science. You might just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, because when I was doing the research, so I started in May 2020. Do I say that right? Yeah, 2020. This is a shocking fact. This is a recent stat that I found. Let it sink in. For the first time in history, our life expectancy is longer than that of our children, because of the unhealthy way that we're living, that we're eating, that our lifestyle is developing. That means, and I shouldn't be thinking of it, but that you will be the one possibly that is burying your child, that is going to the funeral of your child, and that is so against all natural laws, if you ask me.
And anybody who has been on my earlier webinars, Claudi, you will know that I've already had that unfortunate experience, and I can guarantee you that it's not something any of us want to do, is bury our own children.
Terrible.
So this
terrible.
is a shocking fact that due to our lifestyle choices and the decisions we make and the words we use around food, there is a possibility that we could be burying our own children.
Yeah, and another fact is, I also found that in America there's also been a surgery done on obese children, that they smaller their how do you call it, their stomach. So what's there's, I don't know the so there's where my English fell short. Sometimes that technical words, but you know what I mean. So that they're not able to eat a lot of things anymore. That's the one.
I think is what they're talking about.
That's the one. Thank you. So I think that is also, it's all behavioral based, and there's a lot of programs on the television, so documentaries, that you see that there's really an issue with parents overfeeding their children. They do it from love, but they feed them the wrong stuff. And you can't overfeed your children with vegetables. But it's all the processed food and the snacks and the sodas, the sugars, the salt, the oily stuff.
And I think our children take their example from us. So if they see us eating, they'll want to eat the same thing that we're eating. So the best way to teach our children is by example.
Yeah, it is.
So getting on to ourselves then. This is a statistic that is very important, is very impactful. You might just talk us through these particular graphs.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that you see here, this is the history from the last years that I found that women and men both are more and more women and men are becoming obese or overweight. And this line has been developing itself since 1985. So it's for decades that it's happening, and it's maybe slowly happening, but you might be aware of it when you go shopping in the supermarket, that you see people around you that are overweight. And currently it's 1 in 2 people that are overweight. They don't have a healthy weight. And I'm against fat shaming. I'm against really skinny models that are too skinny to be, to my opinion, to be beautiful. I don't think it's beautiful to be really skinny, but I think it's important that you have a healthy weight.
Yeah, so what do you think the main reason for this growth in obesity is, Claudia? Is it a growing prosperity, or is it something else?
It's several aspects. The major thing is that we're eating the wrong food. We think it's food, but it's not food. It's packaged packaged processed food with additives in it, and it's created by the food industry in a way that we get addicted to it and we want to eat more. And we can eat more because all the fibers are taken out of it. There's additions to the food, and we can keep on eating. And because of for instance, there's a specific yeast that is put into it that enhances the taste. So you like it and you eat more. And that's the dangerous food. But it's not food because actually it's dead.
And a
It's
lot of
dead
us
food.
are eating a lot of this food as a way of combating stress and a way of comforting ourselves in time of stress. Do you think that that is playing a significant role in these figures?
That's as well, but also the amount of foods have been risen. So if you compare what you currently have as a portion at McDonald's, that is maybe double the amount of where they started. And the more that we are earning, the more that we are eating. So the more, most of the time, the more meat we will eat. So it's also related to the Western prosperity, so to say. And at the same time, people that don't have much money often take the cheaper food. And the cheaper food is often not good for health. So it's a combination of several factors. But for me, if you ask me, it's most of the time it's the empty calories, the empty things that we eat that we consider to be food. But it's not food. It's something that you can eat, but it's not nutrition for your body. It's just making you eat more than your body needs.
It's nutrition for the mind. It's nutrition for the stressed out mind. It's looking for safety. It's looking for comfort, and we're finding those things in the foods that we eat and in the alcohol that we drink. So to me, the psychological motivation for the overeating is at the heart of the problem.
Yeah, it is part of the people are addicted to food. Like you can be addicted you can get addicted to everything, so to say. You can get addicted to social media. You can get addicted to heroin, to alcohol, but you can also be addicted to eating. And oftentimes, when that's the case, there's an emotional need or a frustration behind it that is causing you to do that. So, but you have on the one hand, you have what's from within that triggers you to eat the wrong stuff, and from the other hand, you have the marketing towards you. Look at the marketing of the supermarkets. It's oftentimes 80% of it is the unhealthy stuff. Our children are being bombarded, and our grandchildren with the marketing of food that we don't need.
So that marketing is triggering a part of our psychology that is looking for something that the food itself doesn't give us, but that the habits, the emotion. We know most advertising it plays on the emotions, and I think it's exactly the same for food. So
and I'm curious if the people that are currently here live, if you have a comment, please tell us in the chat or interact. If you would like to ask something, raise your hand below, and we would love to have your feedback on this. If you notice around you that people are getting unhealthier, maybe you experience something regarding that emotional eating. And also, there are programs on television helping people to get rid of the obesity. Oftentimes they get back to their old habits because they're constantly in the environment of there's food everywhere. There's food everywhere around us. So if you're not prepared and you go outdoors and you want some healthy lunch, oftentimes you can't get it. And nearby the schools, there are the snacks and the easy, quick meals that can be taken.
So I guess with the increase in obesity, then Claudia, over the last number of years and the projections for the future, running in parallel with that is this next slide, the top 10 causes of death from the environment, and we see in there a lot of them are what you might call diseases of lifestyle, into which obesity plays a big part. I think the science that obesity plays into these illnesses is very clear at this stage.
Yeah, there's a high correlation between the chance of developing a chronic disease. And most people don't know that about 40% of the chronic disease is in heart disease. So you see them on the top. And a plant-based diet. So I'm an advocate of plant-based diet. I eat 100% plant-based, but if you're not ready yet, it doesn't matter. But as long as you eat more plant-based, you will improve your health. And a 100% plant-based diet has been proven to be the only diet to prevent and even reverse heart disease. And that is really, really, astonishing.
I know there have been studies done on what's known as the blue zones on the planet, zones in which people have longevity, life expectancy of over 100 years, but not only that longevity, but the health and the fitness to go along with it. Can you tell us something about the blue zones and the diets that prevail there?
Yeah, the blue zones, there are about 6 around the world. And it's all about lifestyle. They so regarding to the food they eat, most of the time they eat the major part they eat plant-based. So if they eat any meat, it's really, really little. And they don't have that much stress. So they are not exercising really intensely, but they are moving. And they also have a group of the social aspect is also really strong there. So that's just a few elements of what we see in the blue zones.
So the science is fairly clear, Claudia, that plant-based diet increases longevity. In those blue zones, I think the amount of meat, it's not that there's zero meat, it's that it's so small and it's kind of done and it's eaten, I suppose, in celebration rather than as routine. So I guess the message we can take from there is that it is possible to have a lifestyle of fitness and longevity. It is possible to have that by learning from what others have done successfully.
Yeah, and the difficulty is only that a lot of doctors are not educated in this. A lot of people like you and me are not educated in this. I wasn't educated in this either. So 5 years ago, I thought that if you would eat vegetarian, it would be boring and you would have a shortage of protein. I had a lot of ideas in my mind of what it would be like because I've never experienced it. I was never educated upon it. And it's just the moment that you start to be interested in this and study about it that you will discover what research has done in this area. And the good news is that if we look at chronic disease and obesity, only 5% is genetically and 95% is lifestyle. So there's really, we can really take back control over our health. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this message around the world, because at this moment I believe that we became a victim of the surroundings, thinking that the only thing that we can do is to choose to vaccinate ourselves and try to heal the world from there. But our world was already ill before COVID came.
So
Oh,
there's a very positive message in there, Claudia, that if the scene is set that as a population we're becoming heavier and moving inexorably towards obesity. But if that's the case till now, there is something we can do about it. It doesn't have to be that way, and we can survive this obesity pandemic. And
yes, but it is really hard because 99% of diets fail. So it's not easy if you don't know how. If you just try to have the diet approach, that's a billion industry around the world. Still, people are trying to lose weight 4 or 5 times a year, and they keep on trying because they think they are to blame that it's not working.
that
But the
diet
diet
industry
isn't working.
makes its money on the basis that people fail.
Yeah.
If people engage with those diets and they succeed, well then they'll very quickly run out of business. They rely on the fact that people are going to fail along the way. What do you think's at the heart of people's failure? Why do people fail in diets?
Now, you cannot blame yourself on that because our body is not made for lose weight. Our body is made to survive. So in the old times, there was no surplus of food around us, so we had to have some reserves in our body for in case that we couldn't find any food around us. So we would be able to live days without food if we still have some water. And that's the entire body mechanism that's built upon it. So to lose weight, you have to deprive your body from some calories, but at the same time you have to be able to burn fat, and that's not easy.
The human brain is hardwired for survival to protect us from pain and move us towards pleasure. So anything that's painful is something that the human brain doesn't want to do, and it'll persuade us. It'll find every reason not to pursue the diet. And I think it's important from my work. It's important to rewire that thought thinking process, to rewire it and change the beliefs that underlie that thinking process, and change the emotions that lead us to overeating.
Yeah, and that's at the same time it's our body again that is making it difficult for us, because every time that we eat something that makes us but can give us the same feeling that we had in nature when we had to hunt for our food. So for instance, if you eat something sweet like berries, your body makes a hormone that's called dopamine, and that's the happy hormone, so to say. So you also have that when you're laughing, when you have sex, when you're eating. There's all kinds of stimulus that are rewarded by our brain with the dopamine. So, and if you're addicted to, like most of the people are addicted to sugar, there's a lot of sugar in all types of food. You wouldn't even suspect it to be there. But just from now on, watch the labels. If you buy a sauce or something packaged, just see on the labels if one of the first three ingredients is sugar, then you can be certain that there is too much sugar in it, and you will want more of it. Yeah, so that sugar stimulates the dopamine, and that is at one point your body doesn't know anymore that you're full. So another hormone, leptin, is being suppressed.
So the body in some ways is fueling the brain into thinking that what it's consuming is actually good for it. But
Yeah, and it's even,
it's a temporary positive
yeah,
impact, because the long term effects from it, as we know, is addiction to that pleasure, and to the rush we get from the dopamine.
yeah, and the sugar in food is really addictive. And in research, it's shown that mice are more addictive to sugar than heroin. Just to put it in perspective. So that's how bad sugar is for us. But the moment, the good news again here, I'm a positive girl, there is positive news, is the moment that you are able to get rid of the sugar in your diet within 2 weeks. Your taste will improve and you will be able again to enjoy the natural sweetness in natural food. So like fruits or sweet vegetables, and it will be enjoyable.
So you might tell us, Claudia, about your 6 areas of deep health. You have the a live acronym that you use to describe this. So
Yes, there are. The food is one of. We're talking today about a healthy body, healthy mind. So I thought the introduction was a good point for us to get started, so you understand what's the surrounding we're living in, how is your body working, and it can also help you to motivate yourself for change. So every change comes first from becoming aware of what's happening, becoming aware of is something good for your health or not. It's about making conscious decisions. But there are different areas that are interconnected with each other. So like the body and the mind. So I am more of the body. William is more expert of the mind. But the body and mind work together. We all know that. You can be sick, or you can be thinking that you feel sick, and your body can respond to it, and the other way around. Yes, so there's a connection already.
so the
You
first thing
also
is
have,
awareness.
yeah, but you also have an environmental health. Are you feeling supported? Are you, for instance, motivated to do something about your health, but your partner is not supportive, or your children won't let you? That's difficult. Then there's fraction in it. Then you have the relational health. Are you feeling that you belong to a group of people? Can you be yourself? That's also an area of health. Then you have your existential health. So that's, do you feel that your life has meaning? Do you have a purpose? Now, if you want to take a journey there, I advise you to talk with William, because he's the expert in that, to find your purpose in life. Mental health, also go to William for that. If you have any issues with it. Then we have the physical health. That is the body, of course, what we just talked about. Are you able to do the things that you want to do? Or the moment that you're obese, you cannot run the stairs, you cannot play with your grandchildren, or you cannot do the activities that you used to do. And especially, of course, if chronic disease is working in your body, then it's difficult to perform. And lastly, the sixth area is the emotional part, and that is about your feeling and about the expression of your feelings. And I oftentimes see that the emotions are also attached to food, like we just talked about earlier. And you might understand that also. Do you remember any smell of your youth, or a specific taste? The moment that you smell it again, you're back in your youth. Or, for instance, some kind of music. Do you have a memory of a music song that is special for you? Anyone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, and oftentimes when you hear something, you might know even where you were when you heard that song. What happened to you? So your emotions are triggered because of your senses, and it's also with food. The moment, behind William, you see Max walking. I'm certain when he will fall, when he falls and he's hurt, William could probably say, well, here you have a sweet. Yes? And what happens when you give your child something sweet? He forgets about the pain. So at a young age, with all the love of our parents, we're already taught that we can find comfort in food. And that's a nice bridge, I believe, to talk about how is that in our adult life.
From your experience working with clients, Claudia, it's important to tackle these 6 areas and to kind of for people to understand their obesity, their weight control issues in the context of these 6 areas.
Now, first of all, I start with my clients on the level of food and planning and prepping, because that's the fundament of solving the issue in our busy life, that we don't make the last minute bad decisions. So I help my clients make good decisions without the need of willpower, and to find a way that they can live a healthier, conscious lifestyle because of choice. And once they are freed of that feeling of craving all the time, then we can put back some guilty pleasures, as I say. So you can have chocolate, you can have cake, you can eat everything you want, as long as you are able to.
It's a steak.
Yeah, as long as you can control yourself at that time, So that it's just once in a while, and it's a conscious decision, and there's no guilt involved. So that's primarily what I start with. But in future, and I'm already working with a client, she has some health issues, and I also said to her, there is some guilt coming from your childhood, I believe, from what she's told me, and I referred her to someone who could help her with that, is to solve that feeling of that she always has to perform and be busy, because she's not taking good care of herself. She's just going, 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 not taking any rest, and she has several medicines, so her body is protesting. So I can, from the food part, I can help her to become healthier, and she already feels better than ever before, and she has lost weight and not the extreme changes like she used to have. But there are other areas. It's a holistic point of view, so to say.
It's important for the client to go deep and to that they're not going to get the same effects by just trying to change their habit without understanding everything that's going on behind it.
Yeah, but it takes time to create new habits, and I help my clients quickly within 2 weeks to get them results, so they believe again that they can do it. In the 6 weeks period, I can help them with the planning and learning a different way to cook. And then if you really want to go for a long-term lifestyle you can maintain, I can work with people for 1 year every month, and we will tackle one habit every month. And then it's a slow process, and it's fun. So that is
the
doable.
most rewarding work is a slow process. The most rewarding work takes time and is difficult to do, and that's why we enjoy it so much.
Yes.
So
before we show this, I would like to go back, please.
Yes.
Because first I would like to talk about that stress eating, and because this is the solution that's coming next. Because I wonder if the people that are joining us live or if there's a replay. Will there be a replay, William?
Yes, I'm hoping so.
Okay. If so, can they use hashtag replay, or can they still comment then, or is it only tonight?
The replay will be available on my community, and I'll provide a link to it too on LinkedIn. So yes, they can certainly they can ask questions in the same way that they would on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Okay, because I see in the chat here that I see some comments of people. So I would like to look here first. Cynthia says a healthy lunch is more expensive than the unhealthy choices on the restaurant's menu. Yeah, that's oftentimes. And so even if you look at, I know from the United States that the unhealthy food is subsidized. And the supermarkets don't earn their money with the vegetables. Did you know that? They earn their money with the unhealthy stuff. Interesting, huh?
But not surprising.
Sandra says, I'm a survivor of pancreatic cancer. Wow. Diagnosed 44 years in 2014. A Whipple surgery which removed half my digestion system. So aware of the benefits of my body, of good food and avoiding bad food, but I still want sweet things after each meal. First of all, I want to applaud you for surviving this. That's really something. And yeah, the sweetness, that you want sweetness after each meal, that is normal, because as I said, it's how we wired that we have to eat sweet things. Our body needs sugar, and sugar in food is perfectly healthy. So the only thing you need to be aware of is that if it's refined, if it's processed, if it's taken out of the food, so to say, then it's dangerous. But you can eat the foods that you love, and maybe you can see how your body responds to it, which food is best for you. But I say to my clients, you can have any fruit that you like. Is that helpful? Okay. Cynthia says, I've started with fitness and cardio because of my health. I know I have to eat more proteins. When you don't eat meat, how can you increase the protein in your diet? Good question. First of all, fitness and cardio to improve your health, that's amazing. It's not necessary for weight loss, though. That might be shocking. Research shows that it's people that really sport intensively over a year period, they only lose 2 kilos more than the people that don't exercise. But it is good for your health because it's good for your mental health. So the other 6 areas of the deep health. It's good for your social environment. And if you're not able to do exercise and you want to contribute to a healthy lifestyle, then it's advised to just walk or move 30 minutes a day. So if instead of going with the car to do your shopping, you could walk, for instance. Because we sit a lot of the time in our new world. There's a lot of sitting involved, so it's good to get up now and then to have a walk. I'm still learning that as well. I did my walk today for half an hour, but oftentimes we're so concentrated and we think, oh, first I finish this and then I finish that. But it's really good for your heart health to move, to get all the blood running in your system. To come back to your question, how can you increase the protein in your diet? I have a question for you. How much protein do you think is in chicken breast? Put it in the chat, please. Let's do a guess. So say you have 100 grams of chicken breast. Cynthia says no idea. Who is willing to do a guess? I think Patrick might be willing to do a guess. Joe says 15 grams. Patrick says 10 grams. Now, 9 grams, says Andy. You have a lower expectation than I did, because I always used to believe that if you eat meat, it's really high in protein. But it's only about 17%, if I say it correctly, if I remember it. Okay. So there's a lot of misbelief that you can't get protein from plants, because, for instance, if you look at beans, they are about 20% protein, so even more than an animal protein. And you would be surprised that also in whole grains there's protein. There's also protein in vegetables. So, for instance, broccoli has a high percentage of protein. But if you really eat a balanced meal and you eat in variation, you won't have a shortage in protein. Interesting, huh? Good question. Let me see. Cynthia says, your gut is your second brain. Am I right? Yes, you're right. It's in connection with your brain. It's full of bacteria. So we think we're human, but the major part of us is bacteria. It's really scary. And recently there has been found that the fibers are really good for our gut health. And as you have the fat, protein, carbs, fiber is also a new macro, so to say. And that's what we need in health. A normal meal in America from the standard American diet only contains about 15 grams of fiber. And that is way, way too low. So if you eat plant-based, you could easily come to 50 or 60 grams. And that's why your skin looks great, and that's why you have a good energy, because your gut health is improving. So the fibers are creating a shorty fatty acids in your body, and it's really good for your longevity. You can add years to your life because of it. So I hope you're getting excited about this all. Let me see. Sandra says, I had organic pea powder into my porridge in the mornings to get more protein into your diet. Yeah, that's you could do that. If you are looking at, there's a movement that's called the whole food plant-based movement. So I take from several movements, I merge them into my formula, my Alive formula. There are people that say I don't take protein powder because it's also kind of processed. It's not in its natural form. So really the people that stick to the letter, they only eat what's provided by nature. So it's the whole grains, the whole nuts, the whole seeds, the whole vegetables. But everyone can choose his own, his own way in that, I believe. I don't want to put you in a box and say this is wrong or this is right. But you could analyze what you're eating right now and calculate how much protein you're getting in the rest of your diet. But as said, probably you won't need it, especially if you have a light, active life and you're not some kind of athlete or something. Andy says, if you mix the 7 essential amino acids, your body makes the protein. In fact, you can find all the protein in plant-based foods. It is said that we are missing 2 proteins, but in other research I have found that those are the proteins that are bad for health. They are causing cancer, etc. So there are the wrong ingredients for your body, so to say. There's a lot of misconception about food. So Joe is asking about coconut oil. Is it good for cooking? If there's one area there's a lot of confusion about, it's about food. So it's always the science says what we believe to be true at this moment. That is what is science, what the science is saying, and that's what I'm building upon. And I follow a doctor, and he says that the coconut oil is not good for the heart health because of the fat. There are other gurus that say that coconut is great for health. I don't believe it's great for health anymore.
Claudia, that there's a lot of conflicting information about the health impact of various different ingredients, and I think that's why it's so important that your approach is based on the science, and it's supported by that documented science. So you will find contradictory information everywhere, but it's so important to rely on the science when you're deciding on how you should go.
Yeah, and I base my science on 3 sources. So I base it upon scientific research that I have found. So there's also research done on food, but it's sponsored by, mind you, food producers. So they are comparing things at their benefit, so to say, so that their product comes out well. So it's not a neutral research. So you have to be really careful what you're looking at. So like there's some myth going on that a Mediterranean diet is healthy, but also the fundament of the research, if you look at it, it is done completely wrong, so to say, to really get to the point of what is working and what is not. So that's what I'm basing it upon. Secondly, I work with a company. I'm in the studies of they make a science of nutrition, and they've worked with more than 100,000 clients, so they know what's working and what's not working. Because that's all what science is. It is the analytics of the data, of combining information, of analyzing information. So on that level, I have access, and then thirdly, I have access with my formula. We apply that to my clients, and we see how they respond, and we adapt if necessary. So it's always looking at, okay, what did you do? What's the result? What did you do? What's the result? And you can do that yourself as well. For yourself, you can experiment with food. If you feel one moment, I don't feel that well, try to keep a journal. What happened? Or was it that you didn't sleep well? Was it in your food? Did you drink too little? Were you stressed? So you could, on a mini level, you could also do some research and being aware of what's happening. So I hope this is helpful, and then I would like to talk about the real topic of tonight, and that's of course.
Where do we go from here? What can we do about it?
Now, first of all, I would like to go a little back, because we also talked. So we talked a bit about food, the emotions behind food, and eating more. Could you put this away, please, William, again? Yes.
So which way?
Because we have been talking about the emotional eating, that we're triggered. Now, I want to teach you that there are emotional triggers from within that can trigger you to that kind of behavior. Now, Cynthia already knows. She's been in a training of mine before, and that's called the HALT. So the H is of hunger, the A is of angry, The L is of lazy, and the T is from tired. So if you will write it down or remember, so I will put my hand like this, you remember? So a stop sign. And then you will know that these are the triggers that you think that you're hungry, but it's not really hungry. It's emotional hunger. Does anyone relate to a moment recently that you might have eaten something and afterwards you believe, was I really hungry? Was there something that triggered? For me it was...
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, for me it was when I was working late at night. There used to be a drawer in the house and we had peanuts, salty peanuts. And I took a hand of it and then I had the energy to continue. Anyone another example recently? Or some time ago? What gave you the trigger to eat?
I think for me, Claudia, a common one is tiredness. When I'm tired, I might eat chocolate just to try and boost my energy. But it's a sugar rush. It's a quick fix, and it leaves you more tired at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just giving the energy. Huh? I hear someone.
Yeah, William. Sorry, I was going to say. Like for me, it's just working from home means eating from home more, and I think snacking can fit into your sort of work cycle when you're working from home, and it can become more emotional, I think. Anyway, just a thought.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, tackling emotional eating can only be tackled by understanding what the emotion is that's causing it. So if it's anger, we have to understand what's causing the anger. If it's tiredness, we have to understand what's causing the tiredness. Claudia's perspective is a lot more pragmatic, down to earth, I think, than mine.
Yeah, but I also say find what lies beneath and become aware of why you're doing it and see what you can turn around. So if you're hungry, it probably means that you don't eat enough on a day. And so you can really see that you eat more of the healthy stuff, so you won't go snacking. And if you're angry, maybe it's time to talk about your emotions. To put a stake in the ground and say, wait a minute, this is not what I want, so that you can take action. And if you're lazy, it's oftentimes that you're bored, so you might find something that distracts you. And if you're tired, it might be time to go to sleep. That's also difficult for me because I'm always active and I like to do a lot of things. I like to see myself also as a high achiever and get things done. But sometimes I think, okay, my body is tired. Maybe I should go to sleep and just wake up early tomorrow and have another productive day. Most of the time that's better than going on until deep in the night.
I used to be like that, Cynthia, busy. And I was so busy, I had to retire. I got very, very ill, highly inflamed. I could hardly dress myself. And being busy, you see, is a kind of a distraction because it strongly suggests we're not present. We're not grounded where we should be. Is this necessary to do? Must I do it? I mean, busy people, why are they busy? Because people know that if they give them something to do, they'll do it. Work comes to them in a way that is they need to be aware. They need to be aware. I think one of the most powerful things I learned, it was too late, but I've learned it, was the capacity to say no in a nice way.
Yeah, you're right, Patrick. It's about setting boundaries. I'm married for 30 years with a wonderful husband who has had a burnout, so I know all about that.
Yeah.
And it's terrible that you don't have the energy to even make a cup of coffee for yourself. So but it's also listening to your body for me. So the moment that I am forgetting my code for my bank, so to say, to withdraw money, or I don't know names of people anymore, that's a danger zone. But it doesn't happen anymore because hardly, I must say, but now I'm more conscious about it, and I feel that it's time to take a rest. But I run two businesses, and we live at three different locations, so I just have a busy life, and that's just who I am. So that's also acceptance.
You don't know where your laundry is if you're living in three different places. I mean,
I have three places where I have laundry.
you have real issues, Claudia.
Yeah. Now, one is my holiday rental, so that's my other business. So I will be there tomorrow again. It's Friday. But thank you for your feedback, Patrick, because I think oftentimes we, as I said, we take our health for granted.
We do. And listen, could I be excused because I'm on another call? Is this call on next week, William? Is it, or is there?
It was great having you here, Patrick. Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you, Patrick. We really appreciate your contribution.
I'd like to contribute more, but I don't have time. But is the call on next week?
The plan, Patrick, is to have webinars such as this about once a month. So I'll certainly contact you in advance of the next one, and I'd love to have you on it.
Yeah, and thank you, Claudia, for
Thank you, Patrick.
Wonderful experience.
I will keep you in mind if I'm too busy, yes?
Yeah, I put my details in the chat, will I?
Okay, do that. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, William.
Thank you, Patrick. Just in case anyone else is running short of time, Cynthia, do you want to say something there? You need to unmute yourself, please, Cynthia.
No, I was just waiting to Patrick to say goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Okay, I'm just conscious that other people might be running short of time, and just to get on to Claudia, the next steps, what we can do.
Yeah, because I also wanted to address shortly the drinking habits, because drinking is also related to possibly emotions, de-stressing after a day's work, and you can become an entire different person because of alcohol if you don't watch out. You can be dependent on it, not knowing it. We have had some experience with that as well, so I know it can be an escape for people. So that's also becoming aware of why you're doing it. Limit yourself. I have a friend and she says, I just can't stop drinking with wine, but she drinks wine every day, and if she drinks one glass, there comes another and there comes another, and she can't stop. And I told her, well, we have found a way that we only drink wine in the weekend, or if there's really something to celebrate. But that could be something to solve it. There is a social pressure, though, because in society, it's like eating is pushed upon us. You're not a nice person if you're in a social setting and you don't eat. They don't like it because it's not fun.
But we can't be responsible, Claudia, for what other people think. I mean, you went on a journey.
No, I don't mind, but I just say in general to help people that have issues with it, Patrick. I don't have any issues with it.
I'm saying that you had posture, you decided you're doing this. And if people disagree with it, fair enough, but will you leave me alone? I'm doing this. I'm on this journey.
Yeah. But I'm telling this to help people in social settings because I know the pressure.
Yeah.
And I know that people expect, well, don't be such a fool. Have a glass of wine, have a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't
And
want.
no, but it's more abnormal to not to drink
Yeah.
than it's so the and that's my point actually the entire evening is that our surroundings tell us what is normal. The new normal is that you overeat. The new normal is that you go for convenience. The new normal is that you have other people decide for you.
Yes. Yes.
And I want to give you tonight that you can decide yourself. So lastly, 10 ways to distress, because instead of taking something to eat or something to drink, how about these? I made a list, and the most important, I believe, is the last one. That's my bonus for you. That is to apply humor. So don't be harsh on yourself. So if you had a good idea of not doing it and you did it anyway, don't feel the guilt. Just laugh, learn from it, and try better next time. But most of all, you can find joy in playing music, in nature, friendship, talking about what happened, and also, of course, saying no. Really important, your not to do list. And maybe a physical workout could help to get rid of the stress. But most of all, I think it's about knowing your own boundaries and where you can find your own energy in life. Because life is too precious to go through life with a lot of stress and with an unhealthy body, if you ask me. I hope you all agree.
Areas, Claudia, that really resonate with me. The areas of self-compassion, self-care, of gratitude are also important in the context of these 10 items. It's all about taking care of ourselves in a compassionate way and being grateful for the things that we have in our lives.
And that's really, really important. Now, then we have last slides, and then we can continue another day. Huh? If you're interested. So, if you feel you're busy in life, one back, please. William?
Yeah.
Yep. If you feel you're busy in life, I've put up my best 10 time hacks, the best habits to lose weight without wasting time in the kitchen. It's the whole process about making your weekly shopping list, preparing, planning, and getting your groceries in the house. It's a free gift from me to you. You can download that at eatforchangechallenge.com/habits. And a gift for those who were, I have an extra gift for those who were live here with us. But that won't be available on the replay. So I don't know how we will share this, William. Should we share that in the chat? I just wanted for the people to be live here. It's something I normally sell.
We can send it by email, Claudia, is the simplest thing to do.
Okay. I will send it to you then. It's an entire week menu with plant-based food that will help you reduce stress and anxiety. So it will really make you feel good. And that's, I hope that you feel good after joining us tonight. Because I know I can talk for hours, so that's my weak point. You got to know me, and I hope you found value here, and that you loved it. And if any questions, you can always reach out to me or William, no matter what. And if we meet each other, we will send your question forward to the other. We can help you out to live with a healthy mind and a healthy body.
And just to let you know, guys, that a replay of this webinar will be available on my Prosperous Nirvana community, which you can sign up to completely free of charge. Just go to www.prosperousnirvana.com and click on Join Community. You'll get the replay to this and previous webinars that I've completed, as well as some interviews and some examples of me in coaching sessions with other people. I'm also providing, which I will email out to you, a hypnotic audio on how we might rewrite the thoughts that we have around food and around eating. So that will be made available probably tomorrow via email, and that's available completely free of charge as well. All you'll be asked for is your email address.
And if you have any feedback after joining us tonight, if you missed anything or would like us to address another topic, please let us know, because we would love to be able to help you. And we can only do that if you tell us what you're currently struggling with or need help with.
And that can be done in the community. If you join up to the community, there's a comment section there. Your comments would be very welcome.
Shall we have another look to the last questions if we missed something? Let me see. Yes, Cynthia has cravings for salty snacks watching a movie. Yeah, that's another habit that we got used to. We go to the cinema and we buy popcorn. Yeah, so our mind is wired for that habit, and it feels so amazing, especially when you have a detective or something. It's exciting to eat. So you have the pleasure of the movie and the food in your mouth. Yeah, so it's all dopamine happening there. Sandra says, my grandmother used to say, what value does your yes have if you never say no? Really, really great. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I learned that you have to have a to-do list and a not to-do list. So if you think you're too busy, make a not to-do list. Patrick says, modern medicine and human health are at crossroads, and the truth is that our signaling molecules are in driving seat. To help correct the negative impact of stressors, lifestyle, and natural decline, we now have available the health breakthrough of Relux signaling molecules to explore what this could mean for you or someone you know. Okay. Patrick has his own business, I believe, if I'm reading this. Oh. Do you still see the chat?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
here.
chat is there. You should be able to see it. Sorry, I'll share my screen again.
I have it here.
Yeah, okay.
Joe says, William, Claudia, apologies, I have to run. Thanks for this. Hope to see you again soon. We hope so too. Joe? Patrick says, William and Claudia, thank you so much. Please excuse me, I must go. Patrick. Wonderful. Cynthia says, sure do. Andy said, thanks, guys. Cynthia says, thank you, William and Claudia. Can you put a link in the chat, William, for your website? For Cynthia.
Okay.
And I think it's handy for the others as well. Sandra says, thank you, Claudia and William. A lovely and informative hour. Amazing. Are there any last questions? There is prosperousnirvana.com.
That's my website.
That's the website of William. Highly recommend it. William is all about the meaning and purpose in life. I will tell you a bit about his story. Cynthia, you don't know him yet? I know Cynthia. And Sandra, did you know William already? No. Angela?
We'd love to see you. We'd love to see you again on some on future webinars. I do plan to run these webinars at least once a month through my website. I do run more, and there's also the ability for me to do coaching with you. I'm also a trained hypnotherapist, so I do like to go deep. I do like to understand the psychology of what's motivating you, what's driving your desire for change. So my approach, as I was saying earlier, is somewhat different to Claudia's. Claudia's on the practical planning of our diets, where mine is on the. I know you go far deeper than that, Claudia. That's probably misrepresents your package so badly. But my approach is to go to the core, to the messages that we get very young in our lives that influence the decisions we make today. So I do like to make change permanent for people. So when people come to look to change things, they're looking to change because they want that change to be lasting. They've tried the diets, they've tried the quick fixes, they haven't worked. They want something that will work, and that's where I come in.
Yeah, because what a lot of people don't know is that on a subconscious level, there's so much, even on a cellular level in your body, I believe, there are so many memories, so many things as a child that you have saved in your body and in your mind. And it's possible to heal from that, even if it has been 1,000 years ago to your idea. Even if you were 5 years old or 8 years old, especially when we are young, a lot of things are happening, and we interpret, give that a meaning as a child. Yeah, and that's possibly a cause of what you're dealing with right now in your adult life. That is keeping you from living life to the fullest.
Okay, I think we've kept these people away from their lives for long enough, Claudi.
Yeah, me too.
Time to let them go, and look forward to seeing you again on our next edition of Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, and would love to hear your comments in the community about topics for that series.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Sandra. Bye, Angela. Bye, Cynthia. Bye, William. See you next time. Angela's still there.
Yeah. Angela is my sister, so so I'm sure Angela is well familiar with me. She's been on a lot of these webinars, so
okay.
Yeah.
Is the broadcast ended now, or is it still going?
Well, everybody's off it now.